Coming up on a very special edition of the Sports Desk, as 2019 comes to a close, we're looking back at some of our most memorable segments this year. From the field, pool, mountain, ocean, you name it, we've been there getting the story. Here are some of our best of moments of the year. Beach guy. So we have a beach too here in Torrance. So I'm going to show you a little bit of Torrance and we'll take a drive to the beach. What would you say the biggest difference is between racing overseas and racing in America?
I think America racing in general, compared to when I raced in Europe, it's a lot more fan friendly. As a kid, as a fan, you want to be right next to the cars, you want to be right involved as much as you can.
Yeah.
And that's what I've loved being in IndyCar, being in America. People can literally get right next to the racing, get to know the drivers.
This is the Torrance Beach.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And to be quick, you've got to be pushing the limits all the time.
Push it, push it.
Yeah.
No, I don't get a ticket though. Okay. And welcome to the Sports Desk, your one source for all things Torrance sports. I am your host, Leslie Robbins, bringing you a gateway to the brightest sports stars and hottest sports spots in Torrance. Just like the time IndyCar driver Ed Jones stopped by our studios in a Ferrari as he geared up for the Long Beach Grand Prix. That is just one of the special moments of this past year. Before we get to even more good stuff, we want to hear from you. Here are the social media stats. Tell us what's going on and what we need to know, because when it comes down to it, this show is all about you. Now let's get you back in the know with some stories from 2019, like how football in our high schools helped close out the fall athletic season on a very high note. Justin Thompson has more.
Thanks, Leslie. 2019 was quite a year for our city's 5 high school football programs. 1 state finalist, 2 CIF finals appearances, and plenty of memorable moments along the way. Sit back, relax, and enjoy our recap of each team and the best plays of the season. Let's get things started with South High, the CIF champs and state finalists. The Spartans boasted a high-flying offense, averaging over 30 points a game this year. Led by senior quarterback Drew Nash, the Spartans' offense was hard to slow down. A group of talented wide receivers made touchdown passes like this the norm at South Stadium, and a strong run game powered by Cade Barger and Jackson Fish made it a true dual-threat offense. The offense was great, but Coach Mishler knows that defense wins championships, and his unit did just that in the CIF finals. The defense showed up on the first drive of that game, Carson Hollinsworth coming up with this interception to keep points off the board. And then, of course, it was the Spartans' defense that held strong at the end of the game, forcing a turnover on downs with just a minute left to all but seal the CIF championship for South High. Drew Nash summed up the season perfectly after the team's win in their regional bowl game that would send them to the state finals.
Our goal all year since January was just to win CIF. We didn't know we would play this far. No Torrance school ever has played in a Week 15, and it feels amazing.
A truly historic season from the Spartans, bringing a football CIF title back to Torrance, something that hadn't happened in over 35 years. From one CIF champ to a CIF finalist, we head over to North High, where the Saxons had a great season of their own. Viewers of the show are well aware that North's offense was headlined by senior running back Stephen Bradford Jr. A dominant force to say the least, showcasing top-notch speed in the open field as well as impressive moves to shake off would-be tacklers. By the end of the season, it was almost more surprising to see Bradford tackled than it was to see him charging into the end zone. A remarkable senior year from Bradford, who broke several school records, rushing for over 4,000 yards and 45 touchdowns in his career. We were at the game where Stephen broke those records and had a chance to ask him how much those accomplishments meant.
It means a lot. You know, I have my family here. I did it for my family. I actually did it for my granny. Rest in peace, you know. And I just had to go out with a bang. I'm working hard for this every week.
Another major storyline from the Saxon season was the development of freshman quarterback Trevor Lagarde. A North team that had reached the CIF semifinals last year suddenly had a rookie under center in a season filled with high expectations. Trevor rose to those expectations and improved greatly throughout the course of the season. When the Saxons faced off against Torrance High, Trevor threw 7 touchdown passes, a performance the freshman was very pleased to deliver against a Pioneer League opponent.
It felt actually really good. I mean, you know, the record at North is 7. So if I would have threw one more, I would have broke it. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, you know, we're just going to keep on moving up and just keep on getting better by week.
And the Saxons did just that, putting together an impressive 11-3 season with a CIF Finals appearance. From north to west, the Warriors had a rough start to the season, dropping their first 5 games before their luck changed against Morningside, and West got to have some fun of their own. Nathan Meyer with an interception to start off that game and takes it back 25 yards all the way to the house. A nice defensive play from West, who pitched a shutout in that game, winning it by a final score of 43-0. Most of the offensive highlights in that one came courtesy of senior running back Xerxes Reamer, who had 3 touchdowns in that game. Here's what he said to us post-game.
Today our tempo was working really well. We got off the ball and the defense, they just couldn't stop it.
Xerxes with another huge night in the team's finale against Torrance High, a very fitting end to his season, scoring 5 touchdowns on senior night. The senior running back accounted for most of the team's offensive fireworks all year, and despite a rough season, West ended it on a high note, capturing their second win of the season, 56-7 over the Tartars. And now we turn our attention to the Tartars, who will be without a familiar face next season. Head coach Rock Hollis hanging up the clipboard after 29 years leading the team. Our Torrance football aficionados are well aware that the Tartars' offense features a heavy run game. The ground and pound style beat up opponents on the field, but unfortunately it was the Tartars coming up short in the box score more often than not. Torrance did have a convincing win this season in their second to last game, taking on Morningside. The Tartars rolled with a final score of 42-13. A feel-good moment for Coach Hollis to remember as he steps away from football.
It's always a pleasure to coach the guys. That's the only reason I've coached as long as I have. You know, they talk about wins and they talk about losses and they talk about a lot of things, but it's that camaraderie. It's that thing you have with the players that you want to make them go from young boys and turn them into young men.
And finally, we go to Bishop Montgomery High School to take a look at their season. 3-7 overall, but a lot of fight from these Knights, who certainly could not have their effort questioned. One high point of the season was coming away with a win on their homecoming game. Senior Brandon Murray had an 80-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in that one. Nice moves from the senior, who was determined to get into the end zone. And that touchdown ended up being the difference in the game as the Knights beat Pioneer 33-28. Another great moment of Bishop's season came 2 weeks later against St. Monica, where the team won 21-13. An amazing finish in that one, with St. Monica driving down the field late in the game. Pearson Cordova came away with a game-winning interception in the back of the end zone. That late-season performance was exactly the fight I was talking about earlier, and head coach Ed Hodgkiss took note.
They had some really talented guys. You know, I think going into this game, we were supposed to lose 49-14, I saw somewhere. So our guys, you know, played great. I'm really proud of them, as proud as I've been of them all season.
So another high school football season in the books. 2019, a memorable one to be sure.
Thanks, Justin. Another team that made it to the state championships on the college level, the ECC women's volleyball squad. Cameron Stelly has their story.
Coach, I want to start off talking about this past season. You went 23-6 overall, 11 sweeps, 9 games where you dropped just 1 set, and the program won their 10th straight South Coast Conference title. What contributed to the success this season?
You know, I think it kind of builds on all of our work we do throughout the summer, and everybody being open to changing and kind of getting better as we go along, not settling. We started off a little shaky in the beginning, and then really settled into a lineup for us that worked well. And I think that helped. They kind of stuck with it even when it was a little bit shaky, and kind of believed in the system that we had, and then saw it really come together at the end.
How would you describe their work ethic?
Work ethic is really good. We have a strength and conditioning coach here that works with the program. The girls lift and condition with her 2 days a week, no matter what, all throughout the season and through the summer. So work ethic has to be super strong, and we kind of build a good base during the summer and then keep maintaining that throughout, because you got to be able to last August through hopefully December, which is where we made it to. But that's the goal. It's a long season and it's a grind. So they got to stay motivated and keep our goals, which, as you mentioned, winning South Coast Conference was a big one for us, one of our goals, and then making it to playoffs, doing well in playoffs and advancing to the state tournament is always the goal, and to maintain that throughout the whole season while going to school is tough to do, but we kind of stay very programmed and in a schedule and kind of keep them that way.
You had some very valuable players this season, and Michaela Clark led the team in kills, and Kelly Donatucci was ranked 6th in the state for digs, both recognized for top honors. What impact did they have on the team, and what was it like coaching them?
Oh, they're great players. They were a huge part. They were captains along with Kelly's sister, Caitlin. The three of them were kind of cornerstone of our team, always who we could rely on. Michaela kind of on the offensive side and Kelly on the defensive side, so they complemented each other well that way. I think having the year under their belt helped them too to step into more of a leadership role and take charge. Kelly was taking everything on defense. Michaela wants the ball with the game on the line, that kind of thing. When you've played a year, that's kind of like the role you step into, and they accepted it really well. The state championships, we lost to Fresno City, who was a really good team. They had a lot of firepower out there and good size. We were probably one of the smallest teams out there. We rely on Michaela a ton for our offense, and they had hitters coming at us everywhere. Luckily, defense, passing, serving, that kind of thing is our strength. I think we spent game one forgetting that was what we needed to do, and we were too worried about what they were doing. Game two, we got back to what got us there, which is we won that game. And then game three was really the kind of game changer. It went back and forth a lot. We were up a little bit. I think the score ended up being 28-26. It got really close, and there was, at one point, I think when it was 24-24, there was a rally that went on for over a minute, and just pounding balls back and forth. I think losing that game was kind of a backbreaker for us, especially because we had been battling them, and again, they had a lot of firepower coming at us. So I think had we won that game, it might have been different, but we kind of ran out of steam game four, kind of took the wind out of our sails a lot. I think most of the girls didn't even think we were going to make playoffs with how we looked our first 2 weeks of preseason.
Who can we expect to see step up as leaders for next season?
We have a pretty sophomore-heavy team this year, but our middles were both freshmen this year, so I really expect them to kind of step up and into that role. Kayla Conley and Jania Goods both did a great job for us, and I think they'll really be go-to hitters next year. Super excited to play in our new gym. Every year you got to get new people in and get them on the same page, and you only have a short amount of time to do that, but it's fun to kind of see what dynamic we're going to have.
Thanks, Cameron. Okay, coming up, it is the best of boys water polo. Plus, we've got a WNBA legend in our midst. Stay tuned.
Harlem Globetrotters, take one.
I like that. Ready, break. Hey, here's the first trick. Round your back. Hold it out.
Boop. You gotta say the boop. You gotta say the boop.
You're gonna pass it to me.
Round the back.
Hold it out.
Punch.
Boop. There you go. You said
Nice.
the boop.
Next one.
Okay. You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
You're gonna go run it back.
Round the back.
Under the leg.
Under the leg.
Hit off the knee. Boop.
Oh, round the back.
Yep. Under the leg. Off the knee.
Nice.
There you go. Next trick. You're gonna take the ball. Go right here. Praying hands, just like that. Split it up. 1, 2, 3. Behind the back. Around the world.
That's
over the net.
impossible. No, I think she can do it. Kobe.
I don't remember.
Hey! I take that. I take that. Yeah, you tricked us. You tricked us.
Hey.
She tricked us.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk. Leslie Robbins here. That was throwing it back to when the Harlem Globetrotters and I hung out to shoot some balls and the breeze, which leads me to my interview with WNBA great and Bishop Montgomery's girls basketball head coach Noelle Quinn, who at the time already knew she was becoming the assistant coach of her former team, the Seattle Storm, but kept it close to the vest when I hinted at it. Take a look. Miss Noelle Quinn, WNBA champion, head coach of the Bishop Montgomery girls basketball team. Which Which title suits you more, coach, player, champion?
Just Noelle Quinn. I'm just me. I'm blessed to be able to to have the opportunity to play and coach and win a championship. That's amazing, but I'm just me.
Tell me what it's like, because I'm looking, it's facing me. Your jerseys are framed, the only 3 that have been retired in this gym. Your name is splattered everywhere.
When they decided to retire my jersey, I mean, I'm speechless. I was speechless at that time just because I just play basketball. I just came here to learn. I didn't expect to be my jersey to be retired. I didn't expect to win all these championships. I just expected to do my best. To look around, it kind of helps me as a coach because I can say I did it.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
I actually grew up in Los Angeles, not too far from here. I obviously play basketball, and I started at a young age. It's interesting because my 8th grade year, I went to Westchester Lutheran, and we wrote a letter to ourselves where what we want to be in 10 years, I believe. It was an assignment from my favorite teacher, Mr. Susich, and in that letter, I wrote that I wanted to go to UCLA and be in the WNBA, and it's very, cool that it happened. He then mailed that letter to us 10 years later, and it was just reading it, very nostalgic. I put my mind to it, and it ended up working out.
Tell me how you prepare your mind, your body to actually reach a goal like that.
I think here at Bishop Montgomery, I was a 2-sport athlete, and I think my work ethic started from volleyball. My volleyball coach, Kim Williman, just instilled that in us. Coach was very into our workouts. She would work out with us, and we would work out so hard. I was tired from that, and I translated that work ethic into my basketball career as a high school student. And Bishop kind of grew me to have this type of work ethic, not only on the floor, but in the classroom. I was challenged. I took honors classes and all that. So this community really helped me to understand that you have to work hard in order to get places in life. I couldn't go anywhere if my grades weren't up to par, if my SAT scores weren't up to par. You have to still get into the college. And then when you get there, you got to maintain your grades.
But take me back to that time, and you were drafted 4th overall. That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. You say that you want to do something, but you don't really know. Agents start calling my coaches, and scouts start coming to the games. I just remember in the draft room with my mother, waiting for my name to be called, and then just in that moment, it was still surreal, like, wow, 4th pick, going to Minnesota, just amazing.
Delray League winners, you took it.
Yeah.
Take me back to the Sierra Canyon game, and it almost looked like, you had it.
Yeah.
Take me there.
Yeah. Days leading up to that game, our preparation was amazing. The girls were so focused. Sierra Canyon is the #1 team in the state, but also in the nation. So we knew what lied ahead of us. There were moments in that game that kind of frustrated me as a coach. I didn't want to exude that on my girls, but we had a huge opportunity, and it kind of slipped through the cracks. We can't miss 10, 11 free throws. We have to make layups, and we have to control the controllables, which I felt like we didn't quite do. But I was so proud of them, and at the end of the day, again, like I'm preaching, winning, it shouldn't matter that much, but yeah, you want to win, you want to be winners, but it was the lesson in that loss. I think that was huge for us. Sometimes you don't succeed at first, but you get an opportunity to try again. Now you got to put your all in your second opportunity and go take it.
You said something, control the controllables. Do you kind of use that in your life?
Yeah.
It's great.
You can control your attitude, your effort, how hard you work. Those are things that you can bring every single day. You can't control what the referees are going to call. Outside in real life, you can't control who you will work with. You can't control driving the people who are going to honk at you and have that. You can't control that stuff, but you can control your own ability to have a good day by having a positive attitude, inspire others, be a light to others in your life that you cross paths with every single day. Those are the things that you can control in order for your life to be successful and positive and feel good about yourself.
You talked about your mom being in the room during the draft.
Yeah.
Did she instill this in you? Because this is some good mental work right here.
Yeah, absolutely. My mom's like superwoman to me. She was an educator for about 35 years, and at first I actually wanted to be a teacher too.
Which, listen, you are very young. I actually could see that on the horizon with you. That's happening, don't worry.
Just because she was a teacher and single mom and worked so hard for me and my sister to provide for everything. And I never wanted for anything. And did we have everything? No. But I had my mom and I had my sister and I had love and I had an appreciation for wanting to be great for my mom and wanting to be a great family member and make her proud. And so I have that even as a 30-something-year-old. I look up in the stands and I see her and I'm like, okay, we'll be okay. Or look up, I'm with her, she's with me a lot and I gotta make sure she's okay and that makes me feel okay. As long as my mom is cool, then my life is great.
You want to show me what you know?
Sure.
I got sneakers.
Okay.
You said you need to control the controllables.
You
said free throws are a controllable.
Yes. Nobody in the gym, there't no pressure right now. But you have to find it in your mind to put that pressure on you.
All right.
Hey! All right, tie game. Tie game.
Now it's your turn.
All
you
right.
got to win the game.
Win the game?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
What's my scenario?
Ooh, what's your scenario? We're down by one.
We're down by one.
And you get two.
We get two. All right.
How's that?
How much time on the clock?
4 seconds.
Ooh. All right, here we go. Let's see. All right. We're tied.
We're tied.
Tie game. One more shot. 4 seconds on the clock. We won.
What else do I show?
Bank shot.
Teacher, teach me, please.
You gotta aim for the top right-hand corner. Oh, that's a brick. There we go.
There we go. Maybe the left. Maybe
Left side. High off. Right in that corner. There it is. You wanna put Can I give you a jersey? We may need you next week.
You think?
Yeah.
Memorable indeed. Okay, coming up, looking back on boys water polo plus all the cool folks who joined me in studio this year. Stay tuned. You talked about the Olympics. I see a nice tattoo on your arm.
These are the 5 cities that for my 5 Olympics.
Now, do you want to put a circle around the one where you got the medal, like right there in the middle?
I was thinking of making it a silver, different color, something.
But you don't want silver, you want a gold. So I think you
Yeah,
have room. Wait, look, I think you have room right before the elbow break.
Tokyo gold.
Listen,
Yeah, maybe.
let's talk about it. Are you itching for Tokyo?
No.
Looking good. Representing the Azevedo water polo brand. What?
What do you think? Am I ready for water polo? Wetsuit, right?
You can't wear that. You gotta think in our sport, you're grabbing. I wear this tiny thing because I don't want to be grabbed. But on the girls' side, they're even meaner than us. They grab way more. Imagine all the
But
throwing
this
you
way
all
they
over.
can't get to me.
Oh, they can get to you. Trust me.
Okay.
Shall we?
Okay, here we go.
Almost. Officially, I can say she's a water polo player now. Underneath, egg beat, pointed, upper corner.
Didn't make it in.
I'm a 5-time Olympian. I'm competitive. Great attempt at scoring.
Thank you. Let's do it again.
Done.
This egg beating thing is no joke.
So now you gotta give me the fake.
Let me get to the bottom so I can do these. Welcome back to the Sports Desk. Leslie Robbins here. When water polo legend, 5-time Olympian, 2-time silver medalist Tony Azevedo agrees to hang out with you at the Torrance Aquatic Center, you agree and you get in the pool. The Aquatic Center is, of course, also home to the swim and water polo teams at our high schools. Melanie Chacon has more.
Thanks, Leslie. I've been covering water polo through the fall season, and every week I'm here at the Torrance Aquatic Center and I get to experience these really exciting games. So I've put together a few of my favorite highlights from the boys water polo season, and I hope you guys are ready for an action-packed next few minutes. Let's check it out. Starting on the south side of town, this young Spartans team at South High had a stellar season, advancing to the quarterfinals of the CIF Southern Section playoffs. Here are a couple of standout players at South that I'd like to highlight. Check out these shots on goal by freshman Jackson Adams. And here are some incredible shots made by sophomore Youssef Gobran.
I'm just really happy for our team overall. We've moved so much since the beginning of the year, or beginning of the season. Some people didn't even know how to swim, and to see where they are now is just amazing.
From the south side to the west side, the West High Warriors season led them to the first round of the CIF Southern Section playoffs. Here are a few great shots on goal we captured this season. The Tartars at Torrance High had a lot to celebrate this season. A first-round appearance in the CIF Southern Section playoffs and a 6-0 record in league. I'd like to put the spotlight on senior and captain Armando Mendoza for his incredible offensive play.
It's been a great season. We did a lot of things that I never thought that we would. I never thought that we would win our league by as much as we did.
And in North Torrance, the Saxons showed a lot of heart this season. Here are a few of their best offensive plays. We showed you some phenomenal offensive plays from this season, and now I'd like to highlight the defensive end. Here are some amazing defensive plays from the Torrance players. I'd like to highlight a standout from Torrance High, senior Jet Hayes. The Tartars goalkeeper had a great season. Here are some of his outstanding defensive plays.
Thanks, Melanie. What a fun year it has been, especially when I step away from the anchor desk for a bit. From stand-up paddleboarding in the harbor to snowboarding at Mountain High, both courtesy of Torrance's Olympus Board Shop. Tea time with golf pro and Torrance High alum Debbie Runis, to sitting down with ECC legendary football coach John Featherstone and Tartars former star pitcher Neil Feist. I've also had some amazing guests in studio too, like Torrance High's baseball coach Terry Dewan, Cirque du Soleil gymnast and Torrance native Amara DiFilippo, West High ball players and brothers Kyle and Jake Sonandres, and from ECC baseball coach Nate Fernley, Elko professor and world record swimmer Tracy Granger, and ECC football coach Gifford Lindheim. Thank you to all of my guests for joining me in studio, and thanks to all of you for joining me every week on your screens to tell your sports stories. That is going to do it for this special edition of the Sports Desk. We will see you back here after the new year. In the meantime, here are the social media stats. Be sure to keep in touch and take us behind your scenes. For everyone here at the Sports Desk, we wish you and yours a wonderful holiday season and a very happy, healthy, and safe new year. I'm Leslie Robbins. Thanks for watching.